We're back on Get Up, and it's a huge one Saturday in Tuscaloosa with LSU and Alabama. Nick Saban, Tua Tagovailoa, mic'd up at practice yesterday.
So how are we doing today, 13?
We're doing good.
So, you know, one of the prerequisites for you being able to play in this game is you got to be able to outrun my ass. All right, which you ain't close yet, I can tell you. His mobility will be the big question. And every day that's improved dramatically. So we'll just see where it takes us. I can tell you want a little bit of this. You want a little bit of this. But I'm so explosive, man. I would beat you out the gate. Set, go. Go get him. Let's go. Close on him. Close on him. Close on him. This is what competitors love to do, having the opportunity to see if you can get your team to play to their best, go practice it, and see if you can get it right in the game enough times to have success. I mean, it's like playing in the playoffs. If you're a competitor, you love it.
I've had the best time this week observing the excitement of two of my absolute favorite people, Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears, as their alma mater LSU prepares for this game of the century this weekend. And so it breaks my heart to have to tell them the following, but history says you have almost no chance. At Alabama have been the two scariest words in the football language for over a decade. Nick Saban's team loses in that building so infrequently that you can actually remember all of the games. There was the Johnny Manziel game, the Cam Newton comeback game, the 9-6 game, and that one time that Ole Miss beat them. And that is it. 4 defeats in 11 years. Alabama is 78-4 at home since 2008. And it gets worse. Right now, they have the longest ever home win streak in the SEC. They've won 31 straight games by an average of 32 points. There is not one player currently on the Alabama roster that has ever lost at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And even that should come as no surprise, because the last time Alabama was an underdog at home was November of 2007. It was against LSU, whose quarterback Matt Flynn had been recruited to that school by, you guessed it, Nick Saban. So, RC, Swagoo, Jarvis, Odell, Booger, Billy Cannon, Burt Jones. I'm not here to say you can't do this, but what I will say is no matter how good your team and your quarterback are, we're going to have to see you climb college football's tallest mountain before we will actually believe that it can be done. That's what I think. Let me bring Acho into the conversation. Now, I'm going to have to ask you for some protection, because when RC gets here next week, when Swagoo get here next week, after Alabama beats them, they're going to be coming for me. What do you think?
Y'all had Coach O on the show yesterday, Greeny, and all Coach O, the head coach for LSU, said was, "We coming." Greeny, if you're ever in trouble and somebody picks up the phone and they say, "We coming," no, they coming with bad intentions. I think LSU wins this ball game, but I'm so excited because it's going to be good on good. Take a look at the tape, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Early on in the season, LSU, Joe Burrow, what he can do, again, against Florida, dominating. He's been dominating all season long, so you just have to be ready. But look at what Jerry Jeudy can do. Tua, he averages 66% of his yards. They're after the catch. This is a now screen. Jerry Jeudy, he's just one-on-one. You're in a telephone booth. Just make an easy tackle, Greeny. Ain't no such thing as an easy tackle against Jerry Jeudy. But this is what I love. He got defenders beating himself up during the play. What is that? But on the flip side, LSU got some bad boys, and that's number 7, Grant Delpit. The exact same play Texas runs is what Alabama run. A now screen, that's it. 2 outside receivers are blocking. Grant Delpit, the hardest play to make in football, an open field tackle. And he comes up, Greeny, like it's no problem, and bang on your chest, young man, bang on your chest. So it's going to be an amazing matchup. Unstoppable force in Alabama, immovable object in LSU. There's no greater game in college football than the one we'll see.
And you're telling me that you like LSU, and they go in there with a quarterback the likes of which they haven't seen in a long time there, in Joe Burrow, and obviously he's playing at a high level, and you already told us today you think he can make himself into the first pick in the draft.
I love LSU because every now and then, Greeny, you see a quarterback who has a season that is special. It transcends the norm. That's what Joe Burrow's doing. His swag, his moxie, his poise, pointing on the sideline, laughing with his teammates. It's very reminiscent, like I said earlier, of what Cam Newton did a couple years back. I don't just like LSU. I love LSU because I think they have something that Alabama doesn't. And right now it's that it factor in Joe Burrow.
But you know what Alabama has that they don't have? 2 things. They have Nick Saban, and they have that building. Again, they have only lost 4 games in that building in 11 years. You still think LSU goes in there and beats that coach in his house in this game?
Both records and history are meant to be changed and to be broken. LSU's about to break some.
We'll find out. There's the other old adage is you never get rich betting against Nick Saban. One way or another, we'll see. By the way, Saturday we got 2 huge college football games on ABC and the ESPN app. We got number 5 Penn State taking on unbeaten number 13 Minnesota at noon Eastern. Don't sleep on them. And then prime time, you got undefeated number 4 Clemson squaring off against NC State.
I don't know the question you were trying to ask.
Be better tomorrow.
I'm not answering that. That's a clown question, bro.
Next. Mike, why are you in such a bad mood? What do you care?
What else do you want to know?
Next question.
Next question.
Next question. Next question.
I'm not going to answer any questions for them.
Answer my question! The question, jerk!
Back to the NFL we go on Get Up with Dominique Foxworth, the man for whom we created this segment. I will ask a series of hard-hitting questions, and you will be forced to answer them. And we're going to start with this. Last week, I asked you, Patriots or the field in the AFC, and you said Patriots. Now they lose this game against Baltimore. If you have to bet your house on this, Pats or the field in the AFC?
Bet the house? My wife would not accept that as a wager, but since you're making me do it, I will go ahead and say I got to stick with the Pats, I think. I mean, their offense is questionable. Look at that man. Look at him. Don't you trust him? You want to trust your house, your life, the future of your marriage, essentially? I would trust it to the scheming of that man. This defense has been outstanding. They were exposed a little bit last week by Lamar Jackson, that team, but no one else in the entire NFL can recreate what they did to break down that defense. They are going to create turnovers, give Tom Brady a short field, and he's going to be able to score even though the offense is not great. But in pressure situations, who do you want with the ball in their hand? Tom Brady. Who do you want scheming up that defense? Bill Belichick. I hate to say it, but I still got to go with the Pats over the field.
All right, so he will keep his house if they make
Hopefully.
it there. Next stop will be a very big game this Sunday night. Cowboys-Vikings. If I'm telling you right now, one of those teams, but not both, is going to make the playoffs, which is it?
Oh, it's easy for me. It's the Cowboys. I think you go to the most important position, it's quarterback, and I think Dak Prescott is a tier above Kirk Cousins. And also, I do think that the Vikings defense is fantastic, especially compared to the Cowboys defense. However, the Cowboys have the lead in their division, and the easiest way to get to the playoffs is to win your division. In order for the Vikings to get to the playoffs, it's going to be tough for them to catch Green Bay. They're going to have to win a wild card spot in a very, very heavy and strong NFC. So I think the Cowboys are more likely to get to the playoffs and probably even more likely to succeed in the playoffs than the Vikings.
It's a huge game. And then the last one. If we were voting on NFL MVP right this minute, who gets your vote?
Oh, it's easy. It's Lamar Jackson. I think he is the MVP so far this season. If you look at what they may not be putting up the same amount of points as some of these great all-time offenses, but statistically, they are as efficient as the 07 Patriots, last year's Chiefs, the Super Bowl, the team of the Falcons that went to the Super Bowl. That's how efficient their offense is because they score on more than 50% of their drives. You don't do that unless you're special. They don't move the ball fast. They run the ball, so it's not going to be a lot of points, but they are that good, and they are making a defense that is not all that good look a lot better than they are. So I think Lamar Jackson deserves all the credit in the world for lifting this team to the point that they are because they built around him in a special way.
I don't mean to be looking over your shoulder, but I am because there's a large fellow standing behind you with a quizzical look on his face. D. Wood, come on over here. What part of that? He just picked Lamar Jackson to be the league MVP. You're not buying it?
Say what you got to say. Ain't nobody
Did
scared
you?
of you.
So Russell Wilson doesn't exist. Is that what you're saying?
Russell
Wilson doesn't exist. 22-1. 22-1. I could just throw that. Everyone knows what it is. 22 touchdowns, 1 interception.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know it.
Wilson?
I know it's fantastic. Yeah. That's
Russell Wilson
just
has been
fantastic.
great. He's
a magician. What are you talking about?
Well, if we were looking
Are you talking about the same? You're talking about the same guy that got Doug Baldwin as number 1, a rookie as the number 2 wide receiver, tight end on IR. Oh, but he's just, in
a bad defense. You forgot about Tyler Lockett, and they got a bad defense. He's been great.
Yeah,
he's led 4 fourth-quarter comebacks. That's fantastic. But I think that what they are doing in Baltimore is more impressive, or what Lamar Jackson is doing in Baltimore. Just because he's not coming back and it's not all magical deep passes in the corner of the end zone, I think what he's doing impressive. All those teams that I named, those great offenses that the Ravens are on par with, the quarterbacks on all those teams got the MVP award. Why are we changing it now just because it looks different?
If I could jump in the middle of all this, I have one hard, fast rule in life, and that is that if two guys are arguing, one of them
Go
is
with the
big
bigger
as
guy.
you are,
Yeah,
I go with the bigger guy.
That's right.
That's my opinion.
That's
Damian
right.
Woody
I'm
is
crazy, though.
That's
Coming up
Crazy.
next, more football. You have to win a
Nuts.
game. Which quarterback are you taking to win it, Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins? Our friends here will have that answer coming up right after they try to answer this from Sneaky Hembo. Here we go, guys. A good one today. Who is the only quarterback ever to win league MVP and miss the playoffs in the same season? That's the question. The answer is next. You're watching Get Up on a very intimidating morning.
Here. I don't care. I'm not scared of him, you, nobody, none of y'all. Y'all lucky RC not here. We break up.